Let's talk to God. One more thing, like, subscribe, and share. Come on, let's talk to God. Woo!
Hey, good evening, everybody. It's Cutler here in the Let's Talk to Cutler broadcast and the Let's Talk to Cutler virtual book club and YouTube platform. And just in case you're stopping by for the very first time and you're wondering what this platform is all about, it really is about inspiration. It's about motivation, and it's about challenging ourselves to show up our best self, even in the worst of situations, because life just has a way of presenting all these opportunities that sometimes throw us off center and get us out of character and that sort of thing. But we spend about 1,800 seconds together every Tuesday to make sure that we are rehearsing ourselves and our lives and our way of responding so that we can show up our best self, even in the worst of situations. So again, I want to offer some inspiration, some motivation, and even challenges. We don't like to be challenged. That has always been a sticky point for me, just being challenged. But I tell you, I've grown to the space and to the place where I've learned to accept the challenges, because the challenges are what help me grow more than anything else that I would ever do, anything else that I would pretty much ever encounter. It's always challenges. So it's nice to get the inspiration. It's nice to get the motivation, but it's about challenging myself to think a different way and to get outside of the box, all those sorts of things. So I want to thank you all, those of you who have been with me for the long haul, those of you who are just coming on. I thank you. And I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Tell somebody to come on and let's talk to Cutler. Tell them to come on. The man is just trying to help save somebody's life. And as you're coming to the chat, make sure that you say, hi, I see several of you on. I don't see you in the chat just yet, but come on in the chat and say hi, so I know that you're here. All right. It is the first day of a new month, and I hope you all are doing well. So here we are in October already, and then we have November, December, then we're in the new year, you all, and we've been doing this. What a wonderful year it has been. It's been a productive year. I don't know where you are geographically, but wherever you are, I hope that you are safe from weather and storms and those sorts of things. So take care of yourself. Make sure that you do. I know there's several people who are dealing with Hurricane Helene and remnants of storms and spawns of tornadoes, those sorts of things. So make sure that you take care of yourself, make sure that you're safe. I think about you all, and I keep you all in my thoughts and prayers very often. I honestly, I really, really do. So let me just go in a moment. I'll shout out the LTDC VIPs, but I want to encourage people to just go ahead and make sure that you subscribe. If you haven't done so, just subscribe. Why don't we just work to get people to come on and subscribe? And then after you subscribe, then you can check the notification bell, click on that notification bell. I don't know if it's down there, up there, over there, over there. I'm not sure, but wherever it is, go ahead and click on it, because it lets you know whenever I've gone live. It lets you know whenever I've uploaded new content. It lets you know whenever I'm here. How about that? It lets you know whenever I'm here. This evening, I want to talk about something that's different, something that's, it certainly is different. Are you emotionally competent? Oh my goodness. You all, please come on in this chat room. I see you, but come on, make yourself in the chat and say hi to everybody else. There may be some internet issues, but I see you. Come on to the chat and say hi so that I know that you are here. But you all, I did some reading, and I started a conversation very early this morning with a group of friends, and it was really lighthearted, a lot of lighthearted fun we were having. But in the midst of this lighthearted fun, I recognized and realized the power of an apology. And then when I logged into work and I started working, I had to do some conflict resolution with some members of my staff. It was about making sure that we were on the same page and that we still had shared and common interests and objectives and what have you, making sure that we were setting out to reach a common goal. But a lot of times we misunderstand each other. And sometimes we misunderstand ourselves. And it just made me think, are we an emotionally competent people? Now, even without delving into the details of that, I want you to ask yourself, am I emotionally competent? And I don't want you to put the answer in the chat. I don't want you to try to answer that. I don't want you to try to to incriminate yourself one way or the other, but ask yourself, I'm telling you, this conversation may be more challenging than inspirational or motivational this evening, but ask yourself, am I emotionally competent? And what does that mean? What does it look like? Are you going to talk about it? Yes, I am. Because at some point during the day, and you all know I have post-its and I write down stuff all the time. And I wrote down this quote or this thought that came to mind. It says, be quicker to say I'm sorry and slower to say I'm right. Be quicker to say I'm sorry and slower to say I'm right. Now, right out of the gate, how many of you all know people to whom that can apply? I mean, for me, it can certainly apply to my life. Be quicker to say I'm sorry and slower to say I'm right. Because I wrote in one of my books, I think it was the Billboards. Yes, it was the Billboards book. One of the quotes that I wrote was, nothing mends a relationship better than repentance. Nothing fixes a broken relationship. Nothing mends a broken relationship better than repentance. Sometimes you just simply have to say, I'm sorry. You have to say, I apologize. You have to stand in the place of emotional competence and say, I recognize how what I did made you feel. I recognize how what I said made you feel. And we have to ask ourselves, am I quicker to say I'm sorry, or am I quicker to say I'm right? And you have to think about that, you all. We really have to think about it. We have to challenge ourselves. If we are on this road, as we say, we're on this road going to this place in this space that is called better. Am I concerned about how my words and my deeds and my behavior impact people? We really have to ask ourselves that, because am I emotionally competent? What does it mean? It means, do I have the set of personal and social skills? Am I able to identify? Am I able to interpret the emotions of myself and the emotions of other people? It just implies this ease in getting along with others, and it helps you to ask yourself, am I aware of my emotions and those of others? It is a challenging topic, because when I'm talking about emotional competence and emotional intelligence, I'm talking about self-awareness. I'm talking about self-management. I'm talking about social awareness. I'm talking about relationship management. And am I equipped? Am I strong in those areas? Can I check off the box with those areas? Because they will help me. They will help an individual to face crises with a lower level of stress. When I'm emotionally intelligent, when I'm emotionally competent, it helps me to deal with life without freaking out. It helps me not to be so emotionally overactive. It helps me not to go into that space and that place where I end up with these unintended consequences of my behavior, because there I was all just unrattled. So some people do see themselves as they really are, so some people do see themselves as they really are, or as others see them. So how can we tell if we are emotionally competent? Well, and that's a good question, Jay Song, for you. I'm going to talk about that because again, the areas of emotional competence really deal with self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. It means that you're taking a look at your ability to respond constructively to the emotions of not just yourself, but to the emotions of others. Am I responding constructively? And when I say constructively, construct means to build. Am I responding in a way that builds relationship, or am I responding in a way that tears down, that is destructive to relationship? And face it, let's be honest. We know when there's something that is destructive, because it is breaking down, it is tearing down, it is crumbling. So am I responding in a way that builds relationship? That makes one socially or emotionally competent. Am I aware enough of myself? Am I aware enough of how I manage myself to the point that I know how to build relationships? All right, good point to yourself. For you, I say self-reflection is a way to balance how others see us and how we see ourselves. Very, very true. And I'll say this, you all, really apologizing is one thing. It's one way to demonstrate emotional competence. Apologizing will demonstrate emotional competence. Let me just shout out to the top three people that I see over in the chat this evening. I don't want to forget you all. I do see you. And from my end, from my perspective, they are Marissa Hattie Boone and Jay Song. For you all are the first three people that I see over in the chat. But let's go back to the conversation, and please keep on chatting with me, because I want to see what you all have to say about this whole notion. Am I emotionally competent? A lot of times we think, when we go to work, we think, oh, I'm competent. I'm fit for this position. I'm fit for this job. I can do this. I'm capable of doing that. But when it comes to emotional competence, am I fit to build this relationship? Are my primary responses, are my primary behaviors, are my primary actions, are my primary reactions building, constructing this relationship? Or is it eating at it? Is it biting at it? Is it tearing it down? What am I doing? Because a lot of times we really aren't building anything. Sometimes we're just in maintenance mode, and that's not a bad thing. That does make you emotionally competent. But let's talk about it. Apologizing, and again, a conversation I had earlier this morning, and it was tongue in cheek and it was lighthearted, but it made me think throughout the day. How often do we apologize? How often do we say I'm sorry? Do we know the power? Do we recognize the power of an apology? Do we understand what it really means? Because the power of a true apology, it comes to heal a relationship. The power of an apology, y'all, it comes to heal a relationship. It means that we get a chance to acknowledge our responsibilities. We get a chance to evaluate what we did in this action and interaction. It creates a space so that we can avoid misunderstandings in the future. I'm talking about an apology, and I'm talking about apologizing, the power of apologizing, because the power of apologizing leads to emotional competence. An apology can be such a powerful tool for building and restoring trust, for healing relationships, and for moving forward. And I think a lot of times people don't want to do that, you all. Have you ever been in a setting, in a situation where people weren't really trying to restore trust? They were just trying to prove that they were right. They weren't trying to heal relationships. They were trying to prove that they were right. They weren't trying to move forward. They were just trying to prove that they were right. That's why I opened this segment by saying, be quicker to say I'm sorry and slower to say I'm right. But there are so many more people who are fast to say I'm right, and then they're going to prove that, rather than stepping back to see what they said, what they did, and how it had an impact on other people. That's what emotional competence is all about. It gets you out of, thank you, Jason, for you. It gets you out of this mode of saying, that's just how I am. This is me. It gives you the lens of saying, am I concerned about how other people respond? Am I concerned about how other people are impacted by what I say or by what I do? Because a lot of times people stand behind the cloak of, this is just me, this is just how I am, and I don't care how, well, take me as I am. Just take it or leave it. I question whether or not that's emotional competence or not. I'm not saying that we have to kowtow and bow to everybody. But if you're never concerned about the words, your words, actions, and deeds and their impact on other people, I wonder if you are emotionally competent, or if you care about being emotionally competent. But I'm telling you, it is an apology. An apology will help demonstrate emotional competence. And a lot of times, as simple as an apology is, a lot of times people don't want to do that. They don't want to deal with the reconciliation. That's what apologizing does. It helps to better understand the damaged relationship. We can't reconcile what we don't understand that has been damaged. An apology, it brings about a healing. So not only does it reconcile, and not only can it reconcile, but it can heal. It can heal the heartache. It can help with restoration. But it also gets to reaffirm your values. I believe in people. I believe in community. I believe in humanity. So apologizing does demonstrate your emotional competence, and it reaffirms the values that you have. Opens this door to communication. So that way I don't shame you, you don't shame me. but it opens the door so that we can talk on an equal playing field. It makes us more empathetic so that let me seek to understand you. Let me seek to understand how you feel. Let me seek to understand how you respond and how you behave. And let me seek to understand the impact of what I did and what it did to you. Can I tell you that more often than not, people who have been hurt, people who have been humiliated, people who have been embarrassed, they really do hope for an apology. Thank you, Marissa. I think it's a strength of character. You says I don't have any problem apologizing when needed. I think it shows strength of character. It shows emotional competence. Jason, how do I apologize when if I do it, it makes me feel like I lost or I was wrong. So then we have to recast and we have to reset our perspective, because an apology does not mean that you lost anything. Apology really says I'm gaining relationship. It's mindset tweaking, it's mindset adjustment, it's rewriting the narrative. An apology does not mean that you lost the fight. It does not mean that you lost the battle. It means that you were concerned about the impact of your words or your behavior on another person. Let me step back and see this. I was in this meeting, like I said, not with my friends, but later during the day at work. And I had a sidebar conversation with one of my staff persons. And I said, let's deal with two things here. Let's deal with what was done, but let's also deal with how the person felt. People who have been wronged, people who have been hurt, people who have been humiliated, they do hope for an apology. And while the other person is saying, no, I don't want to make it look like I lost. Well, you really are losing if you lose the relationship. You really are losing if you lose the ability to communicate. You really are losing. So a lot of times people just walk around looking and hoping that people will apologize. And sometimes they will even ask for an apology. McDonald said, I read somewhere that an apology is like the fragrance of a flower that a flower gives when someone steps on the flower. So we have to ask ourselves, what makes for an effective apology? I'll tell you. One of the things that really makes for an effective apology is when you can specifically talk about the offense. You can define, you can pinpoint what went wrong. Let me clearly share where my feelings were hurt, where I felt attacked, where I felt accused, where I felt like someone was rude, where I felt like someone treated me wrong. We have to be specific and saying, I apologize for this, for doing that. I have to acknowledge that what I did, it caused hurt, it caused harm, it caused humiliation, it caused shame, it caused pain, it caused embarrassment. We have to acknowledge that, and we have to own that piece. And then we have to take responsibility for it. I have to acknowledge that my behavior caused shame, embarrassment, hurt, and humiliation. And then I have to take responsibility for it. Whether it was intentional or not, I have to take responsibility for it. And taking responsibility for it does not mean that I lost the battle. We have to offer some regret. And sometimes I'm sorry can be enough. But may I tell you that quite often it is not enough in and of itself. It opens the door, but just simply saying, I'm sorry, is not. Sometimes it's enough because it opens the door. It's enough to open the door, but it is not the end all be all of a full apology. Let's talk about rebuilding trust. Let's talk about building bridges, restoring relationships. Can you give me a promise that you're not going to repeat this offense? At least you're going to try not to? Can you offer me some kind of explanation of what happened in the first place? And don't get into the point of just trying to justify what you did. But in your explanation, offer something that is some kind of healing. It is so important. People are looking for apologies when they are hurt, when they are in pain, when they are ashamed, when they are embarrassed, when they are humiliated. It is important. It is important to apologize. You want to understand the damaged relationship, don't you? Or maybe you don't care about the relationship. But when you share values, or when you purport to have shared values with an individual or with other people, you don't want to trespass those lines. That's why you apologize. Sometimes people don't apologize. And I would say this: if you don't think you could be sincere, don't apologize. If you don't think you can be sincere, do not apologize, because it will only further serve to exacerbate an already bad situation. It will add further fuel to the fire. It will feel like somebody's kicking a dead horse. It will just damage the relationship. If you cannot offer an apology with sincerity, just don't do it. I'm telling you, just don't do it. I've heard people say, "Well, should I ask for an apology?" Yeah, uh-huh. If you want to acknowledge that you were hurt, it's okay to ask for an apology. If you want to make sure that it's not going to happen again, it's okay to ask for an apology. If, and this is the big if you are interested in reconciling a relationship, it is okay to ask for an apology. If you want to restore and redeem your reputation, it is okay to ask for an apology. If you want to confirm and understand whether or not the other person accepts responsibility, it is okay to ask for an apology. Agree to disagree and or say moving forward. Yeah, because moving forward says how we're going to behave, how we're going to interact in the future. But again, it speaks to our emotional competence, and I want us to be emotionally competent people. Holidays get ready to come up, and people sometimes we can be moving so quickly and doing things, and we offend people, and we don't even realize it. When they bring it to your attention, just make sure that you know how to apologize. Make sure that you know how to be specific about what you did. I've heard people say, well, if I did such and such. No. It's not about if you did it. I've asked for an apology because this is my perception. This is my lens. This is the lens through which I experience your behavior, your words, your actions, your deeds. And so I may ask for an apology. Be prepared to give one. So when you offer, just be specific. Yesterday I said this, or yesterday I did this, or last week I did this. So be specific in what you do. Acknowledge that it was painful, it was humiliating, it was embarrassing, it was shameful. So then you say something like, yesterday when I did this. So you're specific. And then you say, that must have humiliated you, or I understand that this embarrassed you. And then you move on and you take responsibility. And you say, I should not have done that. I should have done that a different way. I shouldn't have said that. Let's learn to take responsibility. Let's be powerful in our apologies. Let's be emotionally competent. Take responsibility. Offer a judgmental word. I was wrong. We don't like that. We don't like that. J-Song for you. I got it. I see it, man. We don't like that. Even if you feel on a practical level that you were right, you could say something like, how I said that was wrong. My timing for presenting that was wrong. The way in which I said that was wrong. So on a practical level, what you say might be right. But something about the delivery, something about the interaction offended, humiliated, embarrassed, and we need to take responsibility for those things. How I addressed that, how I came at you, how I said that, it was wrong. My timing was off. I was wrong. My timing was off. I was in the wrong setting. I should not have said that in front of other people. I shouldn't have said it in front of them. I should have waited. And let's be very clear about it. And I like what you said, McDonough. You said something about, yeah, about moving forward. So let's talk about future intentions. From now on, I won't do that. Next time we're in a setting like that, I won't do it. When this opportunity, when this circles around again, I'll behave, I'll respond differently. Talk about your intentions in the future, because your intentions in the future says to me how you want to mend this relationship, how you want to reconcile this thing, how you want to rebuild this bridge, how you want to redeem and restore and repair, renew. I'm telling you. And may I say this? So listen, if we have been friends for a long time, then we'll get past this. I don't really have to apologize, right? As friends, isn't it understood that I had no ill intent? We just can't assume what is understood unless we've talked about it, unless our relationship speaks to that. As friends, if our relationship says that, but there, I have friends with whom I apologize time and time over again. And I'm good with that. The strength of my friendship is that I'm okay apologizing, because we don't always get it right the first, second, or third time. And even in long-term relationships, it's okay to say I'm sorry. It's okay to apologize. And it's easier when the relationship is firm and settled and true. It's easier to apologize. It should be easier to accept an apology. And let's talk about accepting an apology, because I don't have but 1,800 seconds, so I need to keep on going. But in terms of, so I've laid out how to apologize, but sometimes we need to work on how to receive and accept an apology. Because the response is also critical. If we're talking about future relationships, future restoration, future redemption of a relationship, how I respond to the apology is excuse me, is equally important. Because if you are ready to accept the apology, then you should demonstrate your acceptance. However you do that, whether it means shaking hands, dapping up one another, hugging, or whatever you do, then you should be able to receive and accept the apology and demonstrate your acceptance of an apology. Don't have people saying, well, I wonder, did he accept my apology? I wonder if she accepted my apology. Let's be honest. So in long-term, long-standing relationships with friends and brothers and sisters, those sorts of things, business colleagues, if you're ready to accept the apology, then demonstrate it. If you're not ready to accept the apology, hear me clearly. If you're not ready to accept the apology, then you can say, listen, just give me a little more time. And if you're the one apologizing, don't be offended when a person says, just give me a little more time. Let me think about this and get back with you. That is okay. Would you rather somebody lie and say they accepted the apology when they didn't? Or would you rather they be honest with you and say, I need more time? Oh, I might have to stay on this thing about apologizing another segment. This is important, you all. It is important for us to be an emotionally competent people. It is important for us to demonstrate our emotional competence with the power of apologizing. We need to know how to apologize, and we need to know how to ask for apologies, and we need to know how to accept apologies. Those are three things. We need to know how to apologize, we know how to ask for, we need to know how to ask for an apology, and we need to know how to accept an apology. Let's go on with our bad selves and be emotionally competent people. Let's not take our relationships for granted. Let's not say, oh, you know me, you know how I am. That's just how I am. And come on, no. Let's be emotional competent. Let's be self-aware. Let's be self-managed, and let's be responsive to other people. So it means I'm self-aware. I'm aware of myself. I'm aware of others, which means I'm socially aware, and it means that I'm managing myself and I'm managing this relationship. I won't be offended, but I don't think I'm going to come back and wait a minute. I won't be offended, but I don't think I'm going to come back and apologize again. Oh, you mean if someone says give me some time? No, you don't necessarily have to come back and apologize. You've apologized already. And if they say they need more time, then it's up to them. Now, once I apologize and I do it effectively and I put it out there, it's up to you whether or not you accept the apology. It's up to you to determine how this relationship is going to go. It took a laugh for me to swallow my pride and come to you and apologize. And now you are pushing me away and say, let's talk about it and deal with it later. It took a lot. Right. I get it. And that's exactly what I'm saying. Because once you offer the apology, and if someone says, hey, give me some time, I'm not ready, it's the ball is in their court. It's almost like an offer and a counter offer. I made you this offer and I'm offering you this apology, and either you're going to accept it or you're going to reject it or you're going to counter it. And so now if you counter it, that means you're coming back with whatever you want, and it's up to me to now accept. Absolutely. Yeah. We may have to talk about this again. But I want us to be an emotionally competent people, and I want us to express our emotional competence through the power of apologizing. God, we could teach a nation. We really could. If we could just get people to apologize, we would not have all of these wars. We wouldn't have all of these battles. We wouldn't have all of these fights. If we could just get people to apologize. Think about it. With what's going on in the world today, if people can really be, if they were emotionally competent, makes me think about our leaders on the political front, but I won't even get into that. It makes me think about our world leaders, present and in history. Were they emotionally competent? As Rodney King says, why can't we all just get along? Well, I am always thankful for this time. So thank you for allowing me to come into whatever space you have allowed me to come into, because I wanted to go on and on and on, but I'll come back and share more. I really will. But let's keep doing what we do. Let's keep building community. Let's keep maintaining connectivity. Let's keep our heads up. Let's keep our hopes up. Let's stay safe. Let's stay sane. And don't let people drive you crazy. Don't let people drive you crazy. Apologize when you need to apologize. Just accept apologies when you need to accept them. And let's just keep on doing what we do. All right. Thank you all. Please know that from my heart to yours, there is and always will be so much love. I want you all to enjoy the rest of your week. Have a fantastic weekend. I have to speak at an educational. This is where I was going to go. I have to speak at an educational event. And I'll come back, a scholarship event, and I'll come back and tell you all how it went, because being emotionally competent and understanding how we impact people is going to be a part of what I chit chat about. So, hey, thank you all for listening. You all kind of were the platforms of some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about. So I'll see you all the next time I see you. And until then, tell somebody else, come on and let's talk to Cutler. I'll see you all when I see you. Good night.